Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Chet's Info Source. I'm Chetana S. We are doing Environment series, Chapter 1, Video 3. So in this video, we will study about the biotic interactions, ecological succession and biogeochemical cycle. So let's get started with the biotic interactions. So what is biotic interaction? So organisms are always interlinked with each other. So this interaction is fundamental for the survival of the organism and also on a larger scale for the functioning of ecosystem. So this can be beneficial, detrimental or neutral. Okay. So there are various types in this. We will see the first one, mutualism. Mutualism. I am representing species as SP1, species 1, species 2. So mutualism is a relationship where both the species 1 and 2 has the benefit. So the mutualism is defined as an interaction between individuals of different species that result in positive or beneficial effects. So example what we can give here, lichens. Lichens is in a mutualist relationship between fungus and algae. Another examples for mutualism is also fig tree and wasp. So you should remember both these species are beneficial, positive effect. The second one is competition. Yes, the name itself tells us it's a competition. So it is minus sign. So it is a struggle between two organisms for the same resources within an environment. So this results in negative effect, and also it can be when resources are limited also. Okay. Example, Abingdon tortoise. This tortoise became extinct in Galapagos Island a decade ago when goats were introduced on this island. So there was competition between tortoise and the goats. In the end, the tortoise got extinct. The next one is predation. So predation is where the predator will prey. So one is at the beneficiary positive, another one the prey is at negative. Example what we can tell, this plays an important role in pest control, and it also helps in maintaining the species diversity in a community. Okay, generally we can give an example for this. The next one is parasitism. Here the parasite is in symbiotic relationship between species where the parasite lives in host specific cell, and therefore there will be harm and another species will be at the beneficiary. Okay, example lice. Okay, and the famous example, the common example is quail. The quail bird will lay eggs in crow's nest. The crow will incubate the eggs. So here the host cell is at the quail. Next one is commensalism. Commensalism is where one species is at beneficial, another is neutral. Another species will not be beneficial nor it will lose anything also. So it's a long-term biological interaction. Example we can give, an orchid growing as an epiphyte on mango branch or tree. Here orchid is growing, so it is beneficiary. Mango plant or a mango tree, it is not affected by an orchid. Next one is amensalism. Commensalism is where the one species is negative or it is at loss, another is at neutral. So it's an ecological interaction or association where one is destroyed or inhibited and another remains unaffected. Example, bread mold fungi penicillium we can give. Simple example where a large tree, it will shade a small tree. So when a large tree is shading on a small tree, its shadow will fall. It is where a sunlight is difficult to reach the small tree and hence its growth is hampered. So therefore this big tree it's not affected. Here there is a negative growth in small tree. Okay, the last one, seventh one, is neutralism. Neutralism is where both the species are not affected at all. This is extremely likely. There is no interaction at all, it says. Okay, so these are the 7 types of biotic interactions. With this we'll come to the next topic, that is biogeochemical cycle. So it's a movement of nutrients, element, nutrient cycling you can tell, both living, rock, air, water. So there are 2 types. One is gaseous, another one is sedimentary. So in gaseous example is nitrogen and carbon cycle. Sedimentary example is sulfur and phosphorus cycle. Let's take for carbon cycle. Carbon is a gaseous cycle. Yes, carbon cycle. Carbon, yes, the 71% of carbon is dissolved in oceans. So oceans reservoir regulates the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, and atmosphere has only 1% of carbon contained, and carbon is also present in not only in atmosphere and ocean, also in living and dead organism. So what we can tell, a considerable amount of carbon will return to the atmosphere as carbon dioxide through respiratory activities of the producers as well as the consumers. So decomposers will also contribute to the carbon dioxide pool. Not only this, human activities like also deforestation and fossil fuel energy burning are significantly increasing the rate of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Okay, yeah, next one is nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is constituent of amino acid, proteins, hormones, chlorophylls, and many other vitamins as well. Plants compete with microbes for limited nitrogen. Nitrogen is present in soil, which is limited. So this limiting nitrogen is very important for natural growth of the plants in agriculture also. This nitrogen exists as N2, that is N triple bond N. There are 3 covalent bonds between nitrogen, strong covalent bond, and during lightning process also nitrogen is emitted or produced. So nitrogen is converted to nitrogen oxides like NO, NO2 or N2O. So these are the sources of nitrogen. Forest fires, automobile exhaust, power generating stations are also the sources of the nitrogen oxides. So the step 1 is nitrogen fixing. So nitrogen which are there in the atmosphere, N2, or generally we'll tell nitrogen, is converted into ammonia or ammonium ions. Step 2 is where nitrification takes place. So the ammonia or ammonium ions is converted to nitrite with the help of bacteria called as nitrosomonas. nitrosomonas, or the nitrococcus. Nitrococcus. So these two bacteria will help. This nitrite is converted to nitrate, ATE, remember, okay, through the bacteria nitrobacter. Very important step, nitrification. Okay, nitrification. Step 3 is where ammonification takes place. Ammonification, where the dead matter or animal waste is converted to ammonia or ammonium ions. Okay, ammonification. Step 4 is denitrification. The nitrate ATE is getting converted back to nitrogen through bacteria called as pseudomonas. Okay, so these are the 4 steps in nitrogen cycle. Next cycle is sulfur. Sulfur is in the circulation as sedimentary. It is present in soils, rock as well, and it is abundant protein in soil. Sulfur reserve are mainly soil and sediments, okay, and inorganic deposits like rocks are also there in the form of sulfates, sulfites, and organic sulfur also. Sulfur dioxide is the atmospheric sulfur sedimentary. There is also H2S gas in atmosphere. So through volcanic eruptions, through fossil fuel combustion also, sulfur is abundant in the atmosphere. Next is phosphorus. Phosphorus cycle. It's a major constituent. Phosphorus is a major constituent of biological membranes, nucleic acids, cellular energy transfer systems. We require large quantities to make shells, bones, teeth, and natural resource of phosphorus is rock, and mostly it contains in the form of phosphates. So when rocks are weathered, minute amounts of phosphate dissolve in soil solution and are absorbed by the roots of the plants. So herbivores and other animals obtain this element from the plants. So there are no respiratory or the atmospheric phosphorus in the atmosphere. So this is about the biogeochemical cycle. Next topic is ecological succession. So what is ecological succession? The gradual change in the species composition of a given area. In a given area, there is a gradual increase in a species composition is called an ecological succession. Yes, increasing. So the first community is called as pioneer community. Pioneer community is the first plant to colonize an area. In an area, the first plant which comes is called the pioneer community. Next is the climax community. Climax community is the last one which comes, and usually it will be unchanged. Okay, so the entire sequence of community that successively change in a given area is called a series. So for example, firstly there will be a bare rock. Okay, next comes the lichens. After this, small plants will start growing. Then grasses will come. Okay, then after this finally you will get a tall trees. Tall, small trees and tall trees. Tree. So here the pioneer community is up to the grasses are all intermediate. Pioneer community is the lichens and the small plants. Climax community is the tall trees. So here there are two types of succession: primary succession and secondary succession. So the primary succession is where there is no community at all in an area. There will be rocks here. Whereas the secondary community succession is where the area has already had some succession due to human interference. The area might have lost the forest cover. So usually the secondary succession is very fast because already the rock will have, or the soil will have microbes essential for the succession. So therefore this is very fast compared to primary succession. There is also succession in plants. And this is called as hydrarch or xerarch. So this is in plants. Succession in plants. If the succession is brought by living inhabitants directly itself is called autogenic. And we have allogenic succession also. If allogenic is driven by abiotic components, and autogenic is by biotic. Okay, yeah. I hope you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.